Myself, Dr. Sudhir Kumar Annepu. I'm working as scientist at Directorate of Mushroom Research, Solan. So today I'm going to deliver a talk on spawn production technology. Before going into the topic, so first you read this philosophy or a phrase once I presented on the desktop. So that is what you reap, what you sow. This is a phrase very popular in the Ayurvedic period, or even in the Bible also it is clearly mentioned. That means what are the efforts you are putting, those will be converted into the exact result. That is what the phrase is exactly meaning. So even we can apply this philosophy to the science also. Even what are the efforts you are putting at the beginning of the any activity, that will be clearly converted into a result. So being mushroom, you can read the sentence that I mentioned in the bracket. Spawn is nothing but a seed for the mushroom. So for any agricultural activity, seed is the first starting point. If the quality of the seed is good, then ultimately your production, your yield, your productivity will be good. If there is any defections at the starting point, then the result also will be in a quality way. So this is what a brief introduction. And once I complete this presentation, after the completion of this presentation, the learners or the participants who are attending this session, they're going to know about this. They will be familiar about the 5 key points. So what are those? The first one is, you know about the basic life cycle of the mushroom. And you people became familiar with the terminology that we are frequently using in this presentation. And you people know about the basic steps in spawn production and its multiplication at a commercial level. And you people able to troubleshoot the frequently encountered problems, and also familiar with the standard operating procedures to maintain the quality. So my entire presentation will roam around these 5 key points. And before going into the topic, so we'll once again reiterate the definition. What is the mushroom spawn? Spawn is used as inoculum. So that means it is acting as a seed for growing the mushroom. If you compare the mushroom production activity with the conventional farming, because many participants, you people, you may not familiar with the mushroom cultivation, but you are well versed with the conventional agriculture practices. So I will compare both this mushroom cultivation and conventional farming side by side. So in farming, the seed is the basic input for growing the plants. Similarly, the mushroom spawn is a basic input for growing the mushroom. So it can be defined in a more technical way, like the vegetative mycelium or fungus growing in a convenient medium. And it comprises mycelium of the mushroom and a supporting medium. Because if you sow the seed, where you sow the seed, generally the seed will be sown in the soil. So that means the soil will support the life of the plant. Similarly, for supporting the mushroom growth, it needs a medium. So the spawn comprises the mycelium of the mushroom and a supporting medium that gives the nutrition to the fungus. So this is a basic definition about the spawn. So those who are not familiar with all this terminology, or like mycelium, spawn, nutrition medium, you can simply compare it with as a seed for growing the mushroom. And here I put 2 images for better comparison. So because one should know about the life cycle, because ultimately you want to grow mushrooms, or you want to multiply it in a large scale. So if you want to multiply it, if you want to grow many number of mushrooms, first you know about how it multiplies, how it grows. Then only the grower will develop the technical knowledge about all these operations. The left side image you can see, it is a general basic life cycle of the plant. So how it starts? The plant life starts with a seed, and the seed, under favorable conditions, it will germinate and it will give to the adult plant. And adult plant ultimately, it again gives the fruit, and from fruit we'll get the seed. Similarly, you compare the same things with the mushroom cultivation also. Mushroom life cycle, it starts with the spore. You see the spores, small spores, and these spores will germinate under favorable conditions. And after germination, these spores will develop the mycelium. Mycelium is nothing but the vegetative mass. So then these mycelium fuse together, they will grow, and once it matures, then it will develop into a mature fruit body. And again, from this fruit body, the spores will be developed, and the spores will act to continue the life cycle of the mushroom. This is how you can compare with the basic life cycle of the plant with the mushrooms. So from what we will extract from this slide, single slide. So you see, now you understood the mushrooms will be multiplied with the help of the spore. And this spore will be developed into a mycelium, vegetative mycelium. But the problem is, if you want to multiply for commercial activity with the help of spores, there is no control over it. So that is why we are taking the next step. Once it germinates, the mycelium, it develops into a vegetative mycelium. So this vegetative mycelium we are taking under laboratory conditions, and we are multiplying it, and we are multiplying using a standard medium that supports its growth and also provides the nutrition, and that will be acted as our spawn. So for that, one must understand the basic life cycle of the mushrooms. So next step, proceeding to the next step. Now you people learn about what is mushroom spawn, and you also know about the basic life cycle, how the mushroom multiplies, how it continues its life cycle. So then how we are going to use this knowledge for production of the spawn at the laboratory conditions. You see, these are the basic steps in spawn production. As I told you, the basic life cycle starts from the mushroom fruit body. So from there, instead of using the spore, we are taking the vegetative mycelium, vegetative tissue from the fruit body. Then we are allowing to multiply under the laboratory conditions. So that can be considered as a pure culture. That is what I mentioned in the test tube or the Petri plate. What is looking is it's a pure culture. From pure culture, we are preparing the master spawn, and this master spawn we are using for the further multiplication to a commercial spawn. These are the basic steps involved in the spawn production. So altogether, I compiled here. These are the 4 basic steps. So selection of the fruit body, raising the pure culture, master spawn preparation, and multiplication to commercial spawn. So let us start with the first step, selection of the fruit body. Yes, first step is selection. From which fruit body, as I told you, we have collected the tissue from the fruit body. So which type of fruit body we need to select? If you go to wild, there are so many mushrooms. But from out of those mushrooms, which mushroom we need to be collected? Or else, if you go to any mushroom cultivation unit, from there you find so many mushrooms in the cultivation room. Cultivation, out of those mushrooms, which mushroom we need to be selected to begin our processing? For that, I kept certain points that are ideal to the each mushroom. These are the 5 commercially cultivated mushrooms in India. Commercial or generally cultivated mushrooms in India. The first one is white butter mushroom. Second is oyster mushroom. Third, paddy straw mushroom, milky mushroom, shiitake mushroom. They are the 5 major mushrooms that are contributing more than 99% of the mushroom production in India. So let us see how we will select a fruit body for the white butter mushroom. What characters we need to be considered. The first one is it should be extra white and uniform sized mushrooms. You may, if you visit any mushroom farm, you may see the mushroom bag ones. You will find so many kind of mushrooms, the small one, medium one, bigger one. Many people are tempted to collect the bigger one so that they think like we will get the same kind of yield in the next further generations also. But that is not the ideal way. You must select a uniform sized mushrooms to begin your culture preparation. And it should be followed by the medium size and unopened button shaped fruit bodies, because once the butter mushroom opens, so it sheds the spore and it also collects the other contaminants inside it. So it must be unopened fruit bodies. And stripes should be broad and short, and gills color pink to light brown, and tough mushrooms with more dry weight. These are the ideal characteristics to collect the tissue, to select the mushroom fruit body, and from that you need to collect the tissue. Similarly, for oyster mushroom also, I kept certain points like medium-sized and uniform, non-wrinkled fresh mushrooms, and it should have a good taste, aroma, and more dry weight, short stripe with a large and fleshy pilus. And in oyster mushroom, there are different species, and you have a wide range of colors also. And regarding paddy straw mushroom, also same characters, egg-shaped. It should be egg-shaped, because generally paddy straw mushrooms, generally they are always looks in an open condition in an umbrella shape. But for culture preparation, you must collect at the egg shape. And uniform unopened mushrooms, bluish or grayish colored mushrooms, tough and stout mushrooms with more dry weight. And for milky mushroom, it should be uniform size, pure white and short, thick and small stack. And whereas shiitake mushroom also, it needs uniform, smooth, convex pileates without spots, in short stack of white gills. So these are the criteria required one should consider before starting the culture preparation activity. And you people might have observed, out of all these points, one point is very commonly visible in all these 5 mushrooms. That is, you must collect from the uniform fruit bodies. So that is the major crux. And followed by the next step, raising the pure culture. So I have presented different pictures. What is the procedure to collect the tissue for raising the pure culture? In the first image, you can see we have selected a uniform, unopened, uh, unopened mushroom fruit body. From that, you make it into two halves. Out of those two halves, you see in the second image, you need to pick the tissue from the apical portion. So that is free from the contamination. Generally, if you start collecting the tissue from the surface area or from the sides, it is generally contaminated with the different fungal organisms. So it is better to collect from the apical portion for good results. Then once you collect the tissue, that should be technically transferred to the culture medium. I will deal these steps in the further slides, how we are going to prepare the culture medium and what are the precautions need to be taken for while transferring all these things. And the third step is in the fourth image, you can see once the culture transferred to the culture medium, tissue to the culture medium, then it will grow. The culture medium available in these test tubes will act as will support the life cycle of the tissue, and it provides the nutrition for its growth. Then it can be subcultured into a petri plates for more convenience. And the growth that we obtained in these petri plates, we can use it for the master spawn preparation. So in a broad view, these are the 5 steps involved in the pure culture preparation. Then going to the further steps, that is what I mentioned: preparation of culture medium, isolation of tissue from healthy fruit body, inoculation, incubation, subculturing, and storage. These are the 5 steps that to be followed in the preparation of the pure culture. As I told you, I will discuss about the culture media preparation in the further slide. This is how we are going to prepare the culture medium. Culture medium is nothing but for support of the mycelial growth. It needs some kind of material that supplies the nutrition also, and that supports the growth. So for that, we are using different kind of mushrooms, different kind of culture mediums, but most frequently at a commercial level, because I'm not going to discuss about the scientific things here, but for a commercial, for a practical purpose, if a grower or if a mushroom grower want to raise the spawn. So these are the 4 different mushrooms we are using. The first one is potato dextrose agar medium, malt extract agar. Third is compost extract agar. Fourth is wheat extract agar. Similarly, we have a sawdust agar medium. There are different kind of medium. So you see how I will explain one culture medium preparation here, potato dextrose agar medium. You see, first you have to peel out the potatoes, around 250 grams potato, good quality potatoes you have to select. Then those potatoes should be boiled in the water for 15 to 20 minutes till they become the soft. So once they become the soft, so water is strained to remove the sliced potato. Those potato pieces should be removed from the water, and the decoction, the filtrate should be collected in a beaker. And the volume of this filtrate should be adjusted to 1 liter by adding the additional water. You can add the additional water. Then you add agar powder. Agar powder is available in the scientific, any vendor who supplies the scientific chemicals. There you can procure this agar powder. So you have to add 20 grams of the agar powder, and dextrose sugar you have to add 20 grams. All together, this will make 1 liter of the culture medium. So, and the pH of the culture medium must be maintained at 7 to 7.5. What is this pH and how it need to be maintained? These are all more technical details. If there is any wide fluctuations in the pH, you have 2 solutions. They are also available with the chemical suppliers. That is 0.1 normal NaOH or 0.1 normal HCl. If the pH is too higher, you add, that means if it is more than 7, if it reaches to 8 or 9, then you add 0.1 normal HCl. HCl will reduce the pH. And if it is less than 7, that means if the pH is 6 or 6.5 or 5.5, something like that, then you have to add 0.1 normal of NaOH. These will balance the pH. pH will be maintained at the neutral level. Ultimately, the pH must be in a neutral way. Then only the growth will be good. So similarly, you have to collect the malt extract agar, also compost extract agar, wheat extract agar. I clearly mentioned the procedure here. You can follow this one. And if any of the grower or if any spawn producer don't want to entertain all these things, they can straight away procure the PDM medium from the chemical vendors. That is also possible. You straight away mix the medium in a distilled water, then you prepare the culture medium according to the standard procedure. So once the medium is prepared, the volume is adjusted to 1 liter, then the culture medium should be sterilized. Sterilization means, what is sterilization? Sterilization is nothing but you expose the material to the heat treatment. So once you expose the material to the heat treatment, whatever the contaminants that are present inside the material or inside that flask or beaker where we poured the medium, that will be completely killed away. Otherwise, what will happen? Uh, if you don't sterilize the material, then if you add this tissue directly to the medium, then instead of mushroom growth, you will find the growth of so many contaminants. That is also possible. That is why once culture medium is prepared as per the standard procedure, you go for the sterilization. So sterilization is once sterilization is over, then you take those tubes as I have shown in the earlier pictures. You see this picture once. You pour the culture medium in this kind of test tubes and you plug the culture medium, the test tubes with a non-absorbent cotton. Once you plug it, then there will be no air exchange between the outside environment. There is no contact with the outside environment. Then you bring those test tubes inside the laminar airflow chamber. Laminar airflow chamber, it provides the contaminant-free environment to do all our operations. There you straight away take the culture that you have taken out, you should insert inside the test tubes. Then you plug with the non-absorbent cotton that inside the laminar flow chamber. So with this, we have completed the step raising the pure culture. So what kind of errors? Because we need to check for the errors at every stage, then only we can able to produce the good quality spawn. So there are two kind of errors possible at this stage, at the beginning of the stage. The first one is there may be no growth. There is a very chance that once you added the tissue, there will be no growth inside the material. So for that, there are four possible reasons. And second is there will be a growth of the mushroom mycelium, but there may be contamination also. That will be the second problem. So these are the two things you see here. Why there should not be any mycelial growth? It may be due to the use of overheated inoculation medium, or keeping the tissue in front of the flame for long duration, or non-suitability of the medium. So non-suitability of the culture medium pH. As I told you, pH, it must be maintained in a neutral way. If it is too high or too low, it may not support the growth of the mushroom mycelium. And the third point that you see, non-suitability of the medium. Because some mushrooms they prefer to grow on PDA medium. Some mushrooms prefer to grow on MEA, some prefer to grow on compost extract medium. So those suitability range I have provided in the further slides. And keeping the tissue in front of the flame for long duration. As I told you, all these operations must be carried in the presence of laminar airflow chamber. There, while inoculating, we are using the spirit lamp to prevent as an extra caution. If you keep this tissue in front of the flame for longer duration, then the tissue might have dead. So these are the four possible errors must be avoided while preparing the culture, while raising the pure culture. And the second one is contamination. Contamination, how we can identify, because the mushroom itself is a mycelium, itself is a fungus. So if it infected with other fungus, how we will identify it? The first thing is colored or mycelial growth. So because at the most, under most conditions, the mushroom mycelium looks in a pure white color. So other than white color, if something comes like green or blackish color, bluish color, then definitely it indicates the presence of the other contaminants. Then followed by slimy growth or shining growth. So generally mushroom growth, I will show in the further pictures. If there is any slimy colored growth, then it indicates the bacterial contamination. So I will show with the pictorial representation in the further slides, and I will provide the clear-cut recommendation also how to prevent this contamination. So with this, we have completed 3 steps. What is the basic meaning of the mushroom spawn, and what are the steps involved in the preparation? In that, first how to select a healthy fruit body and what are the characteristics it needed. And second is how to raise the pure culture and how to avoid what are the possible errors and how to avoid them. These are the 2 steps we learned. And following to the next step, that is the preparation of the master spawn. The master spawn is nothing but a, as I defined you in the first slide, you can recollect the definition of the mushroom spawn once. Mushroom spawn is nothing but it is a vegetative mycelium comprising the nutrition media. That media, on that media, we are preparing the master spawn. So pure culture raised from tissue will be inoculated in a suitable substrate. And for this purpose, substrate can be any kind of the cereal grains. You see wheat, jowar, bajra, rye, paddy, any kind of the cereal grains. We can use it as a basic substrate material for raising the, for preparation of the master spawn. It provides the, similarly it provides the food and growing, food and nutrition and growth support to the mycelium. And at this step, what are the precautions need to be taken? The first thing is the grains that are selected for the mushroom mycelium, it must be clean, unbroken, and free from any kind of infection. Because these are all the, as I told you, you always recollect the first phrase I mentioned in this presentation. You sow what you reap. You reap what you sow. That means if there is any mistake at any kind of step, it ultimately affects the mushroom productivity at the end stage. So at this stage, these are the precautions need to be clearly taken. So the grains must be clean and it should be unbroken. It should have a more surface area so that it supports the mycelium growth in a better way. Then what are the steps in the preparation of the master spawn? First, boil the grains in water. So what is this boiling? So as I told you, grains generally they contain in a general 8 to 10% of the moisture. At this moisture stage, the mycelium cannot inoculate. The mycelium cannot absorb the fruits, absorb the food that is present inside the grain. So that the grains must be boiled in order to make it more suitable to the growth of the mycelium. How to boil this one? It is simple, just like in our cooking style, how we are boiling the rice for cooking. Similarly, in that way, we will boil the any of the cereal grains. But while boiling, we must take care that it should not be too much overboiled. Too much water boiling should be avoided. How it can be identified? If you press the grain, it should retains its that still it should retain its property, that strength it should retain. If it becomes so soft when you press in between your fingers, then that is not suitable for the growth of the mycelium. So in a practice, in a practical way, I am saying, so we are using around 50 liters of the water for boiling around 35 kg of the grain. If it is a wheat grain, we are using 50 liters of water for boiling the 35 kg of the grain. That after boiling, then we should drain out the excess water that is present in the grains. Ultimately, the grain should catch around 55 to 60% of the moisture for the better growth of the mycelium. This is how we will complete the first step. So how we are going to boil, that depends on your investment or the facilities available. You can use the big size pans or big size boiling pans. Otherwise, you can simply cook it in your normal vessels also. And the second step is remove the excess water through sieve. That's what I told you. The grain should possess around 65 to 55 to 60% of the moisture. Whatever the excess moisture that is present in the grains, that must be drained out. It can be done simply by you can spread the grains, the boiled grains, on the metallic sieve. Then automatically the water that is present in the grains can be drained away. After that step, you mix gypsum and lime. Gypsum and lime. That in the culture preparation, as I told you, you must maintain the pH at a neutral level. If there is any fluctuation, you can use either HCl or any other H chemical. But in case of the grains, those chemicals will not give the result. Instead of that, we are using the gypsum. Gypsum is nothing but a calcium sulfate, and lime is nothing but our chalk powder, calcium carbonate. These two chemicals should be mixed in a 2% and 0.5% ratio. 2% and 0.5%. That means maybe for the farmers it is difficult to provide in the ratios. I will tell you in a more practical way. You can mix around 200 grams of the gypsum and 50 grams of the lime for a 10 kg of the grain. 10 kg of the grain. You can take it in a dry weight basis. So before measuring, you know how much quantity of the grain you are using for the spawn preparation. If you want to prepare 10 kg of the grain, then you add 200 grams of gypsum and 50 grams of the lime. This combination will maintain the pH in a proper way, that is in a neutral way, 7 to 7.5 pH. And it has also one additional advantage, like it prevents the formation of the clumps, because generally you observe if you boil the grain, then what will happen? It is tended to prepare the form in the form of clumps. So adding the gypsum and lime prevents the clumps also. Ultimately, if the loose grain is there, then it has a more surface area for the pollination of the mushroom mycelium. So this is the third step. So once you prepared, you boiled the grain, you drain out the excess water, then you mix it the gypsum and lime, and you prepared the grain. Then this grain should be filled in the glass bottles. That is like you can see our glucose bottles. With that, you have to fill 300 grams of the substrate. So generally, the growers are tended to fill more amount of the grain to produce larger quantity of the master spawn. But it is very difficult to maintain the quality. If there is any infection at this stage, any contamination at this stage, the entire operation will be spoiled. So that is why it is better to restrict to 300 grams of the material for the master spawn bottle. Then you fill the material in the glass bottles. You plug those bottles with a non-absorbent cotton. And again, you sterilize it. The recommended pressure and temperature. The pressure should be maintained at 22 pascals per square inch of pressure in the autoclave. And you must sterilize the material for 120 minutes. This is also a very crucial step where many of the growers are committing the mistake, because as I told you, you sterilize the material for 120 minutes. Many people, what they will do, they will fill the material inside the autoclave and they will switch on the things and wait for 120 minutes and they will switch it on. That is not the way to sterilization. Once the pressure reaches up to this level, then you have to wait for 2 hours, 120 minutes of the period. So nowadays, automatic autoclaves are coming, so that error can be avoided by using these automatic autoclaves. And then after that, inoculation and incubation, followed by incubation. Inoculation, so you have sterilized the glass bottles, then you take it out. After the sterilization, you take it out, you wait, you keep those bottles under the room temperature, let it cool down to the room temperature. Because sterilization, it generates so much of heat inside the material. So you allow them to cool down under room temperature for a brief period. So once it cool down to come down to the room temperature, then you take those bottles to the laminar airflow chamber again. So whatever the operations, you keep remember all these points. Whenever you do any kind of operation, any kind of transfer operation, you must have to carry out all these things under the presence of the laminar airflow chamber. Okay, so then you take the culture. You have raised the pure culture either in the test tube or in the Petri plates that is fully colonized. From that, you have to take a mycelial bits, small bits of the mycelium. You take it out and you transfer those bits into these glass bottles, which contains the sterilized wheat grain as a substrate. So that step is called as inoculation. Once inoculation is over, then you plug the bottles with a non-absorbent cotton. Then you transfer those bottles to the incubation temperature. Incubation is nothing but it providing the comfortable conditions for the growth of the mushroom mycelium. So what kind of comfortable conditions are required? I will show you in the further slides. Hope you are following all these steps in a proper way, because any mistake at any point of any step will ultimately spoils the entire operations. So the next is large scale multiplication of the master spawn. So what is this large scale? Large scale is you prepared the master spawn in a 300 grams of the substrate. That is a very small amount. But for commercial operations, that is not feasible. So it must be multiplied in a larger scale for the commercial application. That is nothing but a commercial spawn. That is what we are using it as a commercial spawn. So the steps followed here also same. Boil the grains. So remove the excess water through sieve and mix the gypsum and lime in the ratios I provided here. Here the change is, instead of filling 300 grams of the boiled substrate, prepared substrate in the glass bottles, for large scale multiplication, you use 1 kg of the substrate in a heat resistant polypropylene bags. Here we are not using the glass bottles. Instead of the glass bottles, we are using the polypropylene bags. And instead of 300 grams of the material, here we are using the 1 kg of the substrate. This is the only change that coming in this commercial multiplication stage. And remaining all are same. Again, once you transfer the material, once you fill the substrate in the heat resistant polypropylene bags, then you plug it with a non-absorbent cotton. And again, sterilize it 22 pascals per square inch pressure under the autoclave conditions. Then again follows the inoculation, incubation. So here inoculation, one more change is there. In the master spawn preparation, what I told you, you have to collect the mycelial discs from the pure culture. That is what you raised in the either test tube or in the Petri plates. But here for inoculation, we are using the master spawn that's prepared on the glass bottles for inoculation purpose. So instead of adding the mycelial bits, we are using the master spawn for this step. So 1 bottle of the master spawn, that is 300 grams of the substrate, we can use it for the 15 kg of the spawn bags. So with 1 kg, 1 bottle of master spawn, we can prepare 15 kg of the commercial spawn. So then again, once you inoculated it, the same step is continued. You add those fully colonized grain to the substrate filled in this polypropylene bags. Then again, you plug it with a non-absorbent cotton. Then you transfer, once you plug it with a non-absorbable curtain, you transfer them to the incubation room. There you have to provide the comfortable conditions for the growth of mycelium. So these are the basic steps. This is the basic technology that involved in the spawn preparation. So raising the pure culture, followed by the master spawn preparation and multiplication from the master spawn to a commercial level. So as I told you, this is the basic crux. Then I will provide the other necessary details, technical details in the further slides. You can see some necessary do's. So what are the general precautions you need to be taken? The first thing is overboiling and underboiling of wheat grain should be avoided, because if you boil the grain in excess way, then it consumes the mushroom mycelium consumes the nutrition very quickly, and it left with no nutrition for the further growth, to support the further growth. And also it has a high probability to invite the contaminants. Then second step is sterilization should be strictly carried out at recommended temperature and pressure. So here the recommended temperature is 121 degrees centigrade. Pressure varies with the type of the autoclave. In some autoclaves, the pressure once it reaches the 15 psi, then it is sufficient. But in some autoclaves, it requires the 22 psi. But ultimately, the autoclave should reach the temperature of 121 degrees centigrade. Then you maintain it. Then you sterilize the material for the period of 120 minutes, 2 hours period. So that is the second necessary precaution. And third is follow strict hygiene. So if any one of you have some knowledge, some basic knowledge or preliminary knowledge about the mushroom cultivation, the first and foremost important thing is maintenance of hygiene. Because if there is any contamination, once any contaminant enters into your spawn production activity, it is highly difficult to control. You have to wind up the entire activity, then you have to start it again. So in order to avoid such kind of consequences in the further stages, you follow strict hygiene for the better results. Then the bottles, another precaution what I told you is you prepare the master spawn the glass bottles. If there is any, the growth is very slow, sometimes there may be any possibility. There may be a possibility for the slow growth. Under such conditions, what you have to do, you just shake the bottles first. Then what will happen? It triggers the growth. It signals the mushroom that you have to quicken your growth. That is also possible. It should be done at least 4 to 5 days after the inoculation period. Then you comes to the master culture. Before the use of master culture, or even at the rising of the pure culture also, they must be checked for any sort of contamination, because there is an initial stages, maybe people, the beginners, they may not gain the expertise required to do all these operations. So there is an every possibility for getting the contamination. So any contamination, if you identify at the beginning stage, that means at the pure culture level or at the master spawn level, it is better to avoid them. Don't take any jugaad kind of things to proliferate. If you allow them to enter into the commercial spawn level, it entirely spoils the spawn quality, and it also spoils the mushroom production activity in the further stages. So these are the certain precautions the grower need to be taken. And the next is how to judge the quality. So you are not a typical spawn grower, you are a commercial mushroom producer. So you are not worrying about the mushroom spawn production. You are just simply procuring the spawn from some agency or some institute. You are using it for the mushroom cultivation. So at the commercial grower level, what are the quality parameters you need to consider? The first one is generally, I told you, any kind of the cereal grain can be used for the preparation of the master spawn or commercial spawn. But the spawn prepared on either jowar or wheat grains, they generally tended to give higher yield rather than the bajra, barley, and paddy grains. This is what we observed in our center also. And next, followed by, there should be proper coating of mycelium. You can visualize, even in the further slides, I will show the photographs also. If you take a wheat grain, so it should be proper coating. Once it is ready, means the mycelium should completely colonize the surface of the wheat grain. Then only the mycelium is ready, the spawn is ready for the use. Otherwise, what will happen if some gap is there, it indicates that the quality is very poor. So that also you can take it as criteria. And in the beginning slides also, I told you the growth of the fresh spawn is more or less white. Any kind of off color other than this white, it should be strictly avoided. And there should not be any slimy growth in the spawn bags. As I told you, slimy growth, it indicates the bacterial contamination inside the spawn. And there should not be any greenish or blackish spot in the spawn bottles. And you will clearly observe all these things when I show the photographs. when the spawn bags or bottles are opened for spawning, it should emit a typical mushroom smell. And it is a practical kind of suggestions I am providing to you. If any mushroom grower who is familiar with all these operations, if he finds the spawn, he can immediately smell the mushroom smell. If other than mushroom smell comes, means the spawn is not of the good quality. So in the previous slide, I told you what are the precautions need to be taken by the spawn producer. And these precautions are for the commercial grower who want to judge the quality of the spawn. And next to the quality standards for the mushroom spawn. So again, you compare this activity with the commercial conventional agricultural practices. In conventional agricultural practices, seed, if you consider seed, there are three different standards. So one is the breeder seed level, foundation seed level, and truthful level seed. The truthful level seed, that is what the farmers are getting for sowing in the, and these breeder seed and foundation seed, they are maintaining at a institute level, those who are dealing with the production activity. So similar, these three principles you can apply for the mushroom spawn also. So breeder seed is nothing but the pure culture. So the first step, what you raised on the test tubes or petri plates, that is considered as pure culture. You can correlate with this on the breeder seed. And the master spawn or the mother spawn, what you produced in the glass bottles, 300 grams of the quantity, that can be considered as a foundation seed. And what you prepared on the 1 kg bags, 1 kg of the substrate we prepared in the polypropylene bags, that can be considered as a truthfully labeled seed, and that can be directly used for the mushroom production activity. And at each stage, these are the quality standards one should maintain for obtaining the best quality. As I told you, you can read out the first sentence. It should possess the original morphological characters, and at the next level, it should be obtained from the research organization or authentic source. This is one of the important precautions. Any beginner, if you want to start the mushroom spawn production activity, mushroom spawn production activity, the first step is pure culture. If you are not well versed with this technical operations, so it is better to procure that pure culture from the authentic source, either any research organization, government or public or private sector. And it must be free from contamination at all the stages. And culture should indicate the specific growth rate and defined medium at a defined temperature. These growth rates at a defined temperature will be provided by the concerned breeder, the breeder who developed this operation. Similarly, for the foundation seed of the mother spawn, these are the characteristics I mentioned here. So it should have a second class fungal growth with white hyphae, strong and dense mycelium is required. Mushroom spawn should always be from the pure culture. You can see in some areas, I have some practical exposure, also personal exposure in some areas where they don't have a well-established lab. What people are doing, so the commercial spawn they are procuring from any research organization, and the commercial spawn they are using for further multiplication. They consider it as a mother spawn, and they are again multiplying for the commercial spawn preparation. So this should be avoided, strictly avoided. And the master spawn should always be prepared from the pure culture. Then only we'll consider it as a master spawn. Whereas if it comes to the commercial spawn, it should be multiplied from the master spawn. Okay. And it, as I told you, it must be free from contamination at all the stages. And these are the other necessary things. We'll go further. Now we will see crop wise. As I told you, I will provide the technical details in the further slides. These are the technical details required. So for maintenance of pure culture, so you see button mushroom, oyster, shiitake, straw mushroom, paddy straw mushroom, milky mushroom. I provided the details for 5 different mushrooms. The medium suitable preferable medium is for button mushroom, it is compost extract agar. For oyster mushroom, the preferable culture medium is wheat extract agar medium, and shiitake, the sawdust extract agar medium. And straw mushroom, it is a paddy straw extract agar medium. And for milky mushroom, it is wheat straw extract paddy straw extract agar medium. These are the preferable culture mediums for raising these mushrooms. And morphology, if you see the pure culture, it should have off-white in color. For oyster mushroom, pure white and thick with fluffy growth. And for shiitake, it is initially pure white in color, then gradually with attaining the maturity, it turns into a light brown color. And straw mushroom, it should have a fluffy, cottony growth with a brown color sclerotia. So, and milky mushroom, it should have a pure white, dense and thick and fluffy growth. And storage temperature, as I told you, these are the incubation period. Once you inoculate, once you transfer the material into the culture medium, so then it should be kept for the incubation. At incubation temperature, at incubation room, you need to maintain a uniform temperature of 18 to 22 degrees centigrade. These are for the culture. You remember, for culture, the things will vary, and for master spawn, commercial spawn, the temperature limits will vary. And frequency of subculturing, as I told you. So pure culture, once you prepared, it can be preserved for up to 2 months only. At the maximum, you can preserve up to for the 2 months. Once 2 months is over, you have to again take it out the culture from the test tube, and again you re-inoculate in the other test tubes or petri dishes. This is what the step is called as subculturing. So these are the steps required for maintenance of the quality or purity at the breeder seed level. Next is the foundation seed. So that is comparable with the mother spawn. So at mother spawn level, the incubation temperature is, it slightly varies. You can observe button mushroom, oyster mushroom, shiitake mushroom. These three mushrooms are considered as a little cold loving or temperate kind of mushrooms. For that, the storage temperature or incubation temperature is 25 degrees centigrade, plus or minus 2 degrees. Either side, we can maintain the 2 degrees variation. But whereas straw mushroom and milky mushroom, these two are considered as a warm season mushrooms or a tropical kind of mushroom. So for that, it needs a little higher temperature during the incubation. So that is 32 degrees, plus or minus 2 degrees, either side you can maintain. So storage also similarly, this button, oyster and shiitake mushrooms, the mother spawn, once it completely colonizes, that can be stored at 4 to 6 degrees temperature. That means a near refrigerated conditions. But whereas straw mushroom and milky mushroom, it is not possible to store the mother spawn at this temperature. It must be stored at 18 to 20 degrees centigrade for a maximum period of 30 to 40 days. Even in the milky mushroom also, same conditions I'm conveying here. Because what will happen if you store straw mushroom under cold conditions? So it starts developing the slimy growth that will ultimately contaminates the quality of the mother spawn. And followed by the age of the mother spawn. For butter mushroom, the mother spawn for further multiplication into commercial spawn, it should not be more than 60 days older. So if it is more than 60 days old mother spawn, that is not good for the commercial spawn preparation. Whereas for other mushrooms, it is a 30 days limit. And moving to the next step, this is what the certified seed. So that means a certified seed, a truthfully labeled seed, what we are speaking in the conventional agriculture practices. So in mushroom, it is considered as a commercial spawn. So here also the incubation temperature is, for temperate mushrooms, it is 25. For straw mushroom, for tropical mushrooms, it is 32 degrees centigrade with a plus or minus 2 degrees centigrade of variation. Similarly, storage temperature and age of mother spawn also, it is similar. So here in the previous slide, for mother spawn means, age of the mother spawn means, that is for the commercial spawn multiplication. Whereas here the commercial spawn age means, this is the deadline or limit for the commercial application. If it is more than 60 days old, it is not recommended to apply for the mushroom production activity. So these are the basic technical parameters one should be thoroughly know before starting the production activity, spawn production activity. And with this, I have completed the basic technology, though it needs, because the spawn production activity is a little technical. It requires a little technical knowledge. So once you know about the theoretical knowledge of all these practices, one should have the practical exposure also before getting the expert. To gain the better expertise, one should have the practical exposure to all these facilities. So then a brief, because here I am not going to give much details about the design of the spawn lab, but before starting the spawn production activity, one should know about the three basic principles of the laboratory design. The first thing is safety, comfort, and energy efficiency. Because you see, energy efficiency, why I mentioned this point is, you can recollect the previous slides. The first step involved in master spawn preparation is you have to boil the grain. You have to boil the grain. Then again, after preparation, you have to sterilize it. This boiling, sterilization, they generate so much of the heat. This is one step. And in the second step, you visualize, as I told you, so incubation period, you have to maintain a temperature of 25 degrees or 32 degrees according to the mushroom level. So these are two contradicting steps. So that means one way you are generating so much of heat in the laboratory, and another side you need to maintain a proper temperature for the incubation. If you keep these side by side, if you see the boiling room and sterilization room, if you kept just beside the incubation room, so then it consumes so much of electricity to maintain the energy to maintain the temperatures inside the incubation room. So that is why by designing the spawn room in laboratory, you must consider these three steps: safety, comfort, and energy efficiency. Energy efficiency, nothing but these incubation rooms and cold storage rooms literally kept a distance. We should maintain a distance from the this heat generating rooms, boiler room or sterilization rooms. So that is the basic principle required. And third is positive pressure area. Especially in the incubation room, you must maintain the positive pressure. Positive pressure is nothing but, so it doesn't allow, there is a pressure variation. So pressure variation, it should contain more pressure than the outside environment. Then what will happen? The entry of the contaminants from the outside to the inside incubation room will be prevented. So that is also another important step one should consider while designing the spawn lab. And this measurements, design, I will not deal all these things in this lecture because it depends on the space available at your level and the infrastructure or investment you want to put inside this design, constructing this small laboratory. But you must consider these 3 points like safety, comfort, and energy efficiency. Then some of the basic equipments needed for the small laboratory. The first one is boiling pans. Boiling pans are boiling vessels. So that is for the boiling of the grains. Second is autoclave. Autoclave is for the sterilization, dry heat sterilization of the cereal grains. Then comes to the laminar flow cabinet. So laminar flow cabinet for creating the aseptic conditions for isolation and multiplication of the cultures. BOD incubator, this is for creating the favorable conditions for the multiplication. Then followed by refrigerator, electric balance, pH meter, AC systems, generator, miscellaneous equipments. These are the different kind of equipments and their purpose of use. You can collect from this presentation for your use. Then with this, the basic things I have completed. Then we comes to the frequently asked questions. Generally, so maybe for the beginner, they are very much concerned about the technology because they don't know, they have not yet started. So they are very much concerned about how to produce the master spawn, how to produce the commercial spawn, what are the precautions. But for the already those who involved in this production activity, spawn preparation activity, they have different set of questions. So you see how to prevent the contamination in the spawn bags. This is the most frequently asked question when I was the in charge for the spawn laboratory at this institute. This question many times I received from the many growers. Followed by the what is the frequency of subculture and how to maintain the culture of the butter mushroom. Many people they fail to maintain this butter mushroom culture at their laboratory level. And what is the moisture level need to be maintained in the grain? What is the ratio of gypsum and lime to be added? How to prevent the airborne contamination? And does spawn production needs any use the facilities of spawn production effectively during the off season? So there are many questions are there, but these are the most frequently asked questions I listed out here for the presentation. And how to prevent the contamination in the spawn bags. So we'll see this image once. So you can see two different images I kept here. The first one is the green color growth. As I told you, mushroom growth is less, it is relatively white in color, more or less white in color. But if you see this image, it gives the green color growth. That green color growth indicates trichoderma contamination. So if it is a green color, it is a trichoderma, or if it is a black color, it is aspergillus. If it is a blue color, penicillium. Like that, there are many kind of fungal organisms that are acting as the contamination. So the first precaution to avoid the contamination, even in the second image you can see that is a kind of slimy growth. There are spots are there, wet spots are there. That is considered as a bacterial contamination. So many people they are thinking nowadays everybody needs a chemical recommendation, a quick recommendation for the control of these diseases. But these quick recommendations will not applicable, or we are not supposed to give these kind of quick recommendations for the mushroom growth. Why? Because mushroom itself is a fungus. So if you apply any kind of fungicide at a little overdose, so what will happen? The entire activity will be spoiled. So prevention is better than cure in this mushroom spawn preparation. The first precaution is you select the proper grain, contamination-free grain, and you sterilize at the proper temperature and proper pressure. That is also important. That is the first basic step. And third step is while inoculating under the laminar flow conditions, you must take all precautions, all necessary precautions to prevent the entry of the other contaminants inside the mushroom. mushroom substrate, this mushroom grains. So these are the, if you take these 3 4 precautions in a strict way, then it is always possible to avoid the contamination in the further stages. But still, if this problem is persisting and recurrently coming again and again, then these are the 2 3 recommendations we tested here. But it should be used as a final step for to prevent the contamination. That is thiophenate methyl is there. You can use this chemical. It is available in the trade name of Alban or Fungo. So you have to use around 0.05 grams of this thiophenate methyl per kg of the boiled grains. So that means it is little narrow recommendation. You see, if you want to prepare 100 kg of the grain, 100 kg of the boiled grain, then you have to add 5 grams of the material. Similarly, if you found this kind of slimy growth or wet spots inside this mushroom spawn, so you go for streptomycin or neomycin at the rate of 10 milligrams per kg of the boiled grains. And these recommendations you must use very precisely. If there is any excess application of the chemical, then the entire mushroom fungus also will be died. So this is one how to prevent the contamination spawn bags. This is the first step I will do. And what is the frequency of subculturing? So as I told you in the earlier slides also, I told you, once you prepare the rice, the pure culture, so it must be subcultured at a specified frequency. You see, butter mushroom, it must be subcultured within 2 months period. Otherwise, what will happen? The mushroom loses its vigor and strength. So that is why you need to go for frequent subculture. You see, if it is a if it is a Wolverella padistra mushroom, you need to subculture at an interval of 6 to 8 weeks period. So this is the second question which I am encountering very frequently. And third one is how to maintain the culture of butter mushroom. As I told you, butter mushroom prefers compost extract agar medium for the culture maintenance. So many of these spawn production units, what I observed personally is spawn production units, they are devoid from the production activity. For raising the culture, they need a compost extract. Many of these spawn producers, they don't have the access to the butter mushroom compost. So what is happening very frequently, they are losing the culture. So instead of they are maintaining in the laboratory center, they are maintaining at the PDA and MEA medium. Instead of that, you prefer, if somebody encountering this problem, you better go for the compost extract medium. You try to collect the compost from any butter mushroom cultivation unit, then you extract the decoction from that and you prepare the medium for raising the butter mushroom. Then followed by the what is the moisture level need to be maintained in the grain. The grain preparation, it need to be maintained 55 to 60% moisture. Any excess moisture will cause so much of problem. What will happen here, I will tell one more example also. If the grain absorbs so much of moisture, once you fill those substrate inside the polypropylene bags, then what will happen gradually with the passing of time, gradually it started oozing out all that water and it will accumulate in the bottom of the spawn bag. Then what will happen? The mycelium could not able to reach up to the bottom level and it leaves the mushroom spawn unprepared. So it need to be maintained 55 to 60% moisture. And gypsum and lime to be added. This also very many people they are using their own recommendations. Some are using 200, 100, and some are using 200 and 150. But it is based on the experimental results at DMR level. We are recommending gypsum should be added 200 grams and lime should be added 50 grams per 10 kg of the grains. That grains also we must take the measurement on a dry weight basis. That means before starting the activity, you must weigh the grains, then accordingly calculate the gypsum and lime requirement. And the next frequently asked question is how to prevent the airborne contamination. You see many people, they are taking care of the laminar airflow operation. They are doing all the operations very strictly. But once you transfer the material to the incubation room, if there is any airborne contamination, airborne contaminants prevails in the incubation room, then how to prevent it? So for that, two steps are required. One is you maintain the positive pressure. So that means there must be a pressure variation between the incubation room and the outside environment. Then the chances for the entry of airborne contaminants inside the room will be minimized. And the second one is you can use the UV filters. UV filters nowadays they are coming. You can install these UV filters wherever the entry are there. You see either windows or entry gate. At those points you keep these UV filters. Then it prevents the entry of the airborne contaminants. Does spawn production activity needs any certification? No. As such, as of today, there are no certifications are required for the to start or to sell the spawn production, the mushroom spawn. And the final frequently asked question is how to use the facilities effectively. Because spawn production, many of the areas, spawn production is a kind of seasonal activity. You see Haryana, Punjab, the demand for the spawn is peak in the month of August, September, October, because it coincides with the seasonal production of the button mushroom. Once the seasonal production activity is over, then there is no demand for, there is no much demand for the spawn. So how we have to utilize the facilities like autoclave here. You have autoclave, you have lab in air, you have a entire laboratory. How to use them during the off season? For this, my suggestion is you can go for the production of the small scale production of the specialty mushrooms. Why? Because the spawn production activity and the specialty mushrooms production activity both are having the similar, requires the similar laboratory practices, similar operating procedures. You see shiitake, for example, shiitake. So shiitake also you need to sterilize the material while using the spawn. While addition of the spawn, you need a laminar airflow chamber, and incubation also you need to maintain at a 25 degrees temperature. So more than half of the steps require the similar facilities of the spawn production. So any interesting viewers, rather than lying vacant all these facilities, you can convert small portion of your spawn production activity for the production of the specialty mushrooms also. So with this, I have completed the basic steps involved in the spawn production and laboratory principles I discussed, and frequently asked questions also I discussed. Yes, still even beyond this presentation also many questions are there. Many questions you may face. There are many questions roaming in your brain also. Anytime you can call to us, you can mail to us for a proper technical guidance. So services offered by ICAR DMR I have mentioned here. We are providing the cultures, we are providing the master spawn, we are providing the commercial spawn, and we are providing the capacity building through hands-on training programs. As I told you, all these steps you can get the exposure also at DMR. We are preparing the techno-economic feasibility reports for establishing this new spawn laboratory. These are the some of the commercial mushroom cultures available at DMR. You can get it from our website also. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity to me.